Okay guys, we have two different sets of steps for solving. This is the one I prefer, LDCMAM. Again, these will work, but LDCMAM, a way to remember it is look, don't call me after midnight. LDCMAM, you see the steps, align, distribute, left and the right, combine like terms, CLT is combine like terms, left and right. Move the variables to one side, add or subtract, you're going to do the opposite here. Multiply or divide, you're doing the opposite. Actually, on the move the variables, you're also doing the opposite. So, anyhow, I'll kind of try my best to follow these steps. L for line means draw a line down from the equal sign. First step here is subtract 3. So, obviously, some equations don't have certain steps. This one has no distributing, no combined like terms. Doesn't have variables on both sides, but it does have adding and subtracting and multiplying and dividing. So first undo the adding or subtracting. Subtract 3. 2x equals 14. And I do like to change the color of my pen as I do my steps. 14 divided by 2 is 7. Right, divide both sides by 2. I'm going to keep moving along here. This one has distributing as the first step. Again, draw a line down from the equal sign if it helps you. 2 times x is 2x. 2 times 4 is 8. Bring down the plus 5x equals negative 22. Combine like terms here. There, 2x plus 5x. 7x, bring down the minus 8. Bring down the negative 22. Time to undo the subtraction here. Again, I'm still following the steps LDCMAM. It's just that some equations don't have certain steps, right? Not every equation has every step. So get rid of the minus 8 by adding 8. 7x equals negative 22 plus 8, so that puts us at negative 14. I'm going to divide by 7 in my next step. Answer x equals negative 2. There it is. Next couple problems. This one doesn't have, let's draw that line, doesn't have distributing either side, doesn't have like terms either side, but it does have variables on both sides. So again, just kind of go through my steps up there, the LDCMAM. The first M is the step I'm doing, move variables to one side, subtract 5x. I normally move the lesser, since 5 is less than 8, I move that one. Bring down the negative 12. Obviously here you see I'm crossing out my x's. Here I shouldn't have crossed this out. 8 minus 5 is 3x. Bring down the plus 24. I'm ready to undo this addition here. So I'm going to subtract 24. Negative 12 minus 24 is negative 36. Bring down the 3x. The 24 zeroes out. And last step here, divide by 3, right? This is 3 times x, so divide to undo it. And negative 12 is my solution on that one. I'll keep plugging along here. This next one has distributing. 2 times x is 2x. 2 times negative 3 is minus 6. Bring down the minus 17. A line down from your equal sign if it helps you. Here, 13 minus, here you're going to go ahead and distribute. Negative 3 times x is negative 3x, and then negative 3 times 2 is a minus 6. Careful, that's a minus 3 there. You really should multiply it as a negative 3, as I did here. Combine like terms. On this side, again, changing colors is a good strategy for not messing up steps. Change the color every time I do a new step if I remember. Combine like terms. So negative 6 minus 17 will give me a minus 23. On this side, combine like terms, 13 minus 6 is 7. Bring down the minus 3x. It does have variables on both sides, so I'm going to add 3x to move my variables to the same side. 2 plus 3 is 5. Bring down the minus 23. Bring down the 7, right? That 3 cancels out, that 3x. And then I'm going to go ahead and undo this minus 23 by adding 23. So now I have 23 zeros out. Bring the 5x over. 7 plus 23 is 30. Last step here is divide, and x equals 6. Oh shoot, sorry about that. There you go. Next couple problems here, I'm going to keep plugging along, guys. This one does have distributing. 6 times x is 6x. 6 times 3 is 18, plus 7x equals negative 57. I'm going to go ahead and combine like terms as my next step. 6x plus 7x is 13x. Bring down the minus 18 equals negative 57. Next I'm going to add 18 to both sides. Get rid of that 18, right? You guys, I'm sure you know your objective here is getting the variable by itself. So as I move through an equation, I continue to move things away from the variable as much as I can. So anyhow, bring down the 13x. Negative 57 plus 18 should leave us with negative 39, and divide both sides by 13, and I get x equals negative 3. Keep moving along here. This next one has quite a few steps. I'm going to distribute. 4 times 2 is 8x, 4 times 1 is 4. Bring down the minus 29. I forgot my line in the last one. Draw the line if it helps you. 3 times 2 is 6x, 3 times 5 is 15. I'm going to go ahead and combine like terms here for minus 29. So it's going to leave me with a minus 25. Bring down the 6x minus 15. Now I'm going to move my variables together by subtracting the 6x. You guys are probably decent at this. If you're not, work on it, but either way, I'm assuming you're decent. So you could move the variables to one side and move the constants to the other side in the same line. That may save some time. So if I subtract 6x over to the left, I can add 25 over to the right. 8x minus 6x is 2x. 25 zeros out. 6x zeros out. Negative 5 plus 25 is 10. Divide by 2, and I'll have my final answer here. X equals 5. So there's that. So remember, I have to go kind of quick because I can't have the video too long, so you pause as needed. Oh, I don't need to rewrite that. Guys, equations with a bunch of fractions or more than one fraction, I might just get rid of fractions entirely, clear the fractions to get rid of them. So clearing the fractions requires multiplying by the least common denominator. So 2, 5, and 5, the LCD is 10. So basically, if I multiply everything by the LCD, 10, I can get rid of fractions. So here, this is what I do. When I'm multiplying by the LCD, I actually take the LCD 10 divided by the denominator. So I get 10 divided by 2, I get 5, and then that 5 I multiply by the numerator. So my new equation, 5 times 3 is 15x. Again, my LCD is 10. Okay, so anyhow, as I was saying, you want to take that LCD and multiply each term by it, right? So what you're going to do is take the LCD, divide by the denominator, so 10 divided by 5 is 2, and once you do that, multiply that quotient by the numerator. So 2 times x equals 2x here, 10 divided by 5 is 2, and then 2 times 39 is 78, so there's that. You see the way multiplying by the LCD will clear away the fractions, and that is definitely something that I want to do. So I'm going to subtract 2x to continue on in this problem. Get my variables to the same side, right? Remember, the line tells me the right and left side, so subtract 2x, it zeroes out. 15 minus 2 is 13x, and bring down that negative 78. And you might want to have a calculator handy, because some of these calculations may not be done that easily by hand. So x equals negative 78 divided by 13. Let me just see if that divides evenly here. It does. It divides 6 times. So -6 is my answer, my solution on that one. This next one I'm going to multiply by 12, guys. 12, 4, and 3. The LCD is 12, so I multiply every term. That's right. Every term by 12. What that does is it clears away the fractions, but it also keeps the equation true, right? So I got to multiply every term by 12 to keep the equation the same values as it was. So it clears fractions, but it also, like here there's no fraction, I'm just going to multiply by 12, but what I'm saying is I have to make sure I multiply everything by 12, otherwise it's no longer the same equation. So here 12 cancels out, 12 divided by 12 is 1, right? 1 times 55 is 55. Here there's no denominator, so it's just 12 times x, 12x. Here 12 divided by 4 is 3, and 3 times 1 is 3, and then on this one 12 divided by 3 is 4, and 4 times 1 is 4, so 4x. Combine like terms as your next step, so bring down 55, 12x plus 4x is 16x, and bring down that plus 3, and I'm going to keep plugging along here, guys. Just switch my color. I'm going to subtract 3, next step, 55 minus 3 is 52, equals 16x. Now I'm going to divide by 16, and normally if a fraction doesn't divide evenly, I will just reduce it if possible. Not necessarily going to make it into a decimal. So like this one right here, I think I can divide by 4. 52 divided by 4 is 13, 16 divided by 4 is 4, so 13/4 is what that can reduce. So you can make that into a decimal or a mixed number, but dang it, sorry about that. But I normally would just leave it in simplified terms, leave it improper, that's fine. If you look at this next one, 4, 3, and 6, the LCD or the LCM, if you prefer, of those denominators is 12 again. So I got to multiply every term by 12. That'll clear fractions. Now you don't have to do this, right? If you want to solve an equation that has fractions in it as is, you can, but that's really a pain. You may as well try to clear the fractions. So what you do, remember, is you look at your denominators. You have to figure out what the LCD is. In this case it's 12, and if I multiply every term by the LCD, I can get rid of fractions. So, and how do I carry that out, right? Take your LCD, divide it by the denominator. 12 divided by 4 is 3. Then what you get, you multiply by the numerator. 3 times x, 3x. Here 12 divided by 3 is 4, and then 4 times 2 is 8x, and then this last one, 12 divided by 6 is 2, and 2 times 5 is 10. You know, normally I'd move the lesser variable if I had to move variables, but in this case it'll create more work, so I'm just going to subtract over the 8x in my next step. 3 minus 8 is -5, so -5x. 8x zeroes out, bring down the 10, and my next step is dividing by -5. And so I get -5 cancels out, and I get x equals -2 on that one. I'm going to keep going here, guys. The LCD of 2, 7, and 14, the LCM or LCD, right? It's just called the denominator because it's on bottom, but it's the same as the LCM of the 3 numbers. It's 14, by the way. Multiplying each of these by 14, remember 14 divided by 2 is 7, and then 7 times -7 is going to give me a -49x. Here, 14 divided by 7 is 2, and then 2 times 5 is 10x. Here, 14 divided by 14 is 1, so 1 times 65 is just 65. Combine like terms here, -49 plus 10 is -39x equals 65. And I'm going to go ahead and divide both sides by -39. And that's not a number I'm too familiar with, but I can actually divide both of these by 13. So if I divide both top and bottom by 13, I can get -65 divided by 13 is 5, 39 divided by 13 is 3, and so it's -5/3. By the way, it doesn't matter where the negative sign goes. I know here it's on the bottom, but the negative sign can go on top, bottom, or middle. As long as there's only one negative sign, it's a negative fraction. So